I want to ask you a strange question. If you were diagnosed with a terminal disease and the doctor called you at 3 in the morning and said, I found the cure. Come to the hospital right now and I can save you. What would you do? You would grab your keys, you would run out the door, you would speed to the hospital. You wouldn't stop for anything. You certainly wouldn't stop to write a poem. But look at Daniel. It is most likely very early in the morning, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. The executioner Arioch is waiting. The death decree is still active. The sun is about to come up. Daniel has just received the cure. God has given him Nebuchadnezzar's dream. He has the information that will save his life, the life of his friends, and the lives of the living Babylonian wise men. But he doesn't run to the door. He pushes pause on his survival to hit play on his worship. He stops everything to write a hymn. Why? Because Daniel knows something that we have forgotten. He knows that the giver, God, is more important than the gift, which is the dream in this one. He knows that if he runs to the king without first bowing to God, he will walk into that throne room as a celebrity, not a prophet. And that is dangerous. Hello, and welcome back to Bible Talk. I'm your host, T. I am not a theologian. I'm just a woman who wants to know how to stand when the world falls apart. Today, we are looking at the hymn of praise. We're going to learn why worship must come before deliverance. This is one of the most beautiful passages in the entire Old Testament. It is a theological masterpiece written by a teenager in a war zone. I read from the Christian Standard Bible, so let's read Daniel chapter 2, verse 20 through 23. May the name of God be praised forever and ever, for wisdom and power belong to him. He changes times and seasons. He removes kings and establishes kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals the deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with him. This isn't just a song. This is a manifesto. Daniel is declaring war on the Babylonian worldview. Let's break it down line by line. First, look at verse 21. He changes times and seasons. Daniel isn't talking about the weather. He isn't talking about spring, summer, fall, or winter. In prophecy, times and seasons refers to political eras. Daniel is living through a massive geopolitical shift. Assyria has fallen. Babylon has risen. Judah has been conquered. The temple has been destroyed. From a human perspective, it looks like chaos. It looks like evil is winning. But Daniel anchors himself. He says, God changes the times. He is acknowledging that these frightening shifts are not accidents. They are appointments. God turned the page from the era of Judah to the era of Babylon. If you believe that history is just random events, you will be terrified. If you believe that God holds the calendar, you can be calm. Some of us are in a season that is extremely difficult. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you're going through a divorce. Maybe the political landscape of your country scares you. These are exhausting applications to go through and very wearying on the spirit. Daniel reminds us, God sets the clock. He changes his seasons. Winter doesn't last forever. The season we are in has an expiration date set by Yahweh himself. Secondly, look at the verse, he removes kings and establishes kings. The audacity. Think about where Daniel is. He is in Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar is the most powerful man on earth. He thinks he is a god. He thinks he is invincible. He answers to no one. And here is Daniel, a slave, declaring, my God can fire the king. This is political theology. Daniel is looking at the most terrifying dictator in the world and saying, you, my friend, are just a middle manager. You are an interim CEO. My father is the chairman of the board. This is a lens through which we must view the rest of the book of Daniel. The statues, God smashes them. The fiery furnace, God nullifies the king's decree. The lion's den, God shuts the mouths. The Antichrist, God destroys him with a breath. It all falls under this heading. He removes kings. If you are afraid of the government or the New World Order, you need to memorize Daniel chapter 2, verse 21. They only sit on the throne because God allows them to warm the seat for a season. Thirdly, let's look at verse 22. He reveals the deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with him. Do you remember the magicians? The sorcerers? They work in the dark. They whisper. They use hidden arts. They still do that today, as we see. Daniel is saying, my God does not need to guess. He turns on the lights. Light dwells within him. This is a direct shot at the Babylonian gods. Marduk was the patron god of Babylon, but he didn't dwell with light in the same way. He was a god of storm and war. Daniel is declaring that his God has no secrets. There is no conspiracy theory, no backroom deal, no secret plot in the Kremlin or the White House that is hidden from God. He knows what is in the darkness. This gives Daniel confidence. He is about to walk into a room to tell a king a dream that only the king knows. Why is he confident? Because he knows the one who holds the flashlight. Fourth, look at verse 23. I thank and praise you, God of my ancestors, for you have made known to me. He moves from the global you remove kings to the personal you told me. This is the balance of true worship. We praise God for being huge, and we thank him for being close. Let's look at the logical analysis. Why did Daniel stop to do this before going to the king? Because of ego. Let's think about it. Daniel has the secret. He is about to become the most famous man in Babylon. He is about to be promoted to prime minister, unknowingly. If he walked into that throne room without grounding himself in worship first, he might have been tempted to take the credit. He might have walked in strutting, hey, look at me. He might have thought, I'm pretty special. I'm the man. By worshiping first, he killed his ego before he walked into the stage. He reminded himself, this wisdom isn't mine, it's his. He ensured that when he stood before Nebuchadnezzar, he would point to God, not Daniel. Worship is a safety mechanism that keeps success from destroying you. I want you to see something profound. Before Daniel physically walked out of his house, he was already free. Physically, he was still a captive in Babylon, but spiritually, he was soaring above. The skeptic might say, okay, T, this is just poetry. It's nice words. It doesn't change the reality that they are slaves. This is my rebuttal. It changes everything about their reality. A captive who thinks his captor is all-powerful is a slave. A captive who knows his captor is temporary and appointed by his own father is free. Worship breaks the mental chains before God breaks the physical chains. It reorients the brain to the supreme hierarchy of the universe. Nebuchadnezzar is down here. God is up there. Once you see that hierarchy, you can walk into the throne room without fear. You can look the killer in the eye and smile because you know who his boss is. This is my theological challenge for you. We are obsessed with the news. We doom scroll on our phones. Who will win the election? What about the war in the Middle East? What about the economy? What about the Great Reset? We consume fear until we are sick. Daniel chapter 2, verse 21 is your medication for political anxiety. He removes kings and establishes kings. If you are panicking about politics, I have a hard truth for you. You aren't worshiping enough. You have forgotten who changes the seasons. You have elevated the king, the politician, the threat, above the remover of kings. Stop scrolling. Stop arguing on Facebook. Stop watching 24-hour news cycles that monetize your fear and start writing your hymn of praise. Until you can say, God, you are in charge of the White House, the Kremlin, the UN, Parliament, and the World Economic Forum, you aren't ready to face the world. Worship is warfare. It wars against the fear that tries to colonize your mind. Daniel is ready. He has the dream. He has the interpretation. He has the worship. His knees are dusty from prayer and his heart is full of praise. His ego is dead and his spirit is alive. Now, and only now, is he ready to open the door. He's going to walk to the palace. He's going to walk past the guards. He's going to walk into the throne room of the beast. And he is going to look at the head of gold in the eyes and tell him exactly when his kingdom will end. Join me next time for The Great Deflection. Daniel confronts the king. Here are my 3 questions for you to help build your faith. Number 1. Do you thank God after the answer, or do you forget? Are you one of the 9 lepers who don't come back? Number 2. Does your prayer life include praising God for his control over politics, or just complaining about it? And number 3. Are you ready to speak truth to power? Worship prepares you for the battle. I will see you in the next video, but until then, you have a blessed day. Bye for now.